So, a great deal of you journalist types are of the opinion that this rifle, out of all of these weapons, is somehow super dangerous and needs to be banned, and you should only use this double-barrel shotgun or something or another. Well, let's go through exactly how bullets work. So we're going to start off with this. This is a 22 long rifle. You can see it's a rather small round with a very, very small amount of powder. And this is 9mm. This is your military issue Beretta 92FS, which is the standard pistol of the U.S. Army currently. It assumes that it's a military weapon, so it must be super dangerous, right? Well, compared to 22 LR, maybe. This is 45 caliber. This is a 45 ACP round, 4mm jacking round. Oh, it's got a big number, so it must be super deadly, right? Well, as you can see, it's bigger than the 9mm, but not by much. Just fire 2 blasts. No other tests, even though that's literally illegal. That's 40 shots are illegal under federal law, by the way, Joe Biden. Just letting you know that. So this is a 12-gauge shell, compared to the horrible 9mm that military pistols and police pistols shoot. In fact, the projectile was about the size of one of the pieces of shot in this thing. There's like 9 pieces of shot in there. Well, that was very good 47 rounds in AK-74. Well, by the different caliber that this shoots. This is a 5.45 by 39 rifle. This came after the AKM. And it fires a cartridge somewhat similar to the 5.56, except it's shorter, it's got less powder, and it's got a longer bullet, which makes it more effective. Now this is an M16A. This is an M16A1 specifically, but no civilian issue, no civilian purchasable AR-15 can do that. They're only safe for semi. This horrible 5.56 that is absolutely going to tumble and kill everything in the room is super powerful, right? Oh, would you look at that? Look at how, look, it's about the same size as the 5.45. And it has comparable velocities to the 5.45. And here is the AKM specifically. Although you might call that an AK-47, but the AK-47 refers to specifically a milk version of this. So this is a .62 by 39. This is the standard AK cartridge. It's a little fatter than the 5.56, and it's about the same length. It's actually a bit more powerful, but it also has slightly less range because it actually has a bigger bullet with about the same amount of powder. So it's actually slightly weaker. This is your Grandpappy's M14. This is what the M16 replaced. Now look at the size of those cartridges. So here's 5.56. Here's 7.62 NATO. This is 308 AK, the same sort of hunting cartridge that your Grandpappy's hunting rifle fires. This is the M1 Garand, what the M14 replaced. And this, by the way, is actually a clip. It fires 30-06 Springfield. Oh wow, would you look at the size of this cartridge compared to 5.56. That's 5.56. That's 30-06. And this little guy is 22 LR. Huh. It's almost like you're only arguing on things based on how they look. This is 50 BMG out of an M107. This is API, armor-piercing incendiary ammunition. It just happened to be the one that was equipped in this particular 5.56 super deadly needs to be banned. You can fit the entirety of the 5.56 cartridge in the 50 BMG projectile. It's so big. Let's go for something a little more ridiculous. This is a tongue bear. This is a single-shot Mauser rifle made by the Mauser Company in World War I to take on tanks. This is 13.2 millimeter Punkfeder. It's basically the early German equivalent to 50 BMG, and it's about the same size. This is a 20 by 82, firing a high explosive round. This is a 20 millimeter anti-material cartridge. This is a grenade launcher, not a bazooka. This is a grenade launcher. And this is a 40 millimeter, less lethal CS gas grenade, specifically. This one is CS. This is used in riot control. I think because I know you journalist types would go fucking ballistic if I mentioned CS gas. This is a bazooka, and this is the rocket that it fires. It is a high explosive weapon. This is an RPG-7. This is the rocket that it fires. But somehow you're telling me that in a country where you're allowed to have these with proper explosive licenses, that somehow this specific round is the most deadly and dangerous thing ever. Well, let's give you a general demonstration to show you what kind the reason that 5.56 is so popular. So here's a 22 LR. Basically no recoil. Throw it same place every time. This is 9 millimeter. There's some recoil, but not very much. Here's 45. This is why you boomers don't understand why 45 is terrible. This is basically a 9 millimeter, but slightly bigger caliber. You know that recoil. For this 9mm pistol. Now let's go for a shotgun. This is just standard double aught body. This is your standard hunting load. There's a lot of recoil in this. It's a short range cartridge that's mostly capable of about 100 yards. This is 5.45. This is the cartridge that the AK-74 fires, and this is the Russian equivalent to 5.56. Because I know you're going to want to see this more because we're going to be talking about it a lot. So here is the M16's recoil. Couple of chambered around. This is firing a 5.56 by 45 millimeter round, so it's got some recoil. It's got some recoil if you don't brace it against your shoulder, but it's completely manageable. This is 7.62 by 39. This one has more recoil than the 5.56 because it's a bigger round going a little bit slower. As you can see, the recoil is a little bit more severe. It takes a bit more time to get your sights back on target. Because we're going to be revisiting the M14, we're going to clone that. Despite the fact that it looks like a hunting rifle and is literally a military firearm. Look at that, all that recoil. large recoil, large enough the firearms actually have. That's 50 BMG. This is 13.2 millimeter Tonkin figure. Which cartridge is it? I think it's this one. Yeah, this one. This is a German anti-tank round. It kicks super hard. This could actually knock you on your ass if you're not careful. This is a 22. This is a 20 millimeter. Even with all the recoil dampening, you can see the barrel moves back with every shot. It still recoils substantially because that is an explosive round. 40 millimeter grenade. This was CS gas, not an explosive projectile, but this can fire explosive rounds. Something. Elevators are black people, yeah. Because I know you're gonna piss yourself when you hear that. This is a bazooka. It's an electrically fired anti-tank weapon. It has no recoil because all the recoil energy comes blasting out the back. So this is supposed to be pretty dangerous what I'm doing right now, but this is a video game, so my safety is a little bit less important. As you can see, it's a large, slow-moving, high-explosive projectile. This is an RPG-7. So you tell me the 5.56 is super dangerous when these weapons exist. Alright, so now that we've gone over the difference between small calibers and anti-tank weapons, but like, I'm going to set my target strong. And lower it to 1 meter above the ground. So this is 100 meters away. I'm going to do something that no standard civilian AR-15 can do, and just go full auto on this target. That's 29 rounds. And let's see how we do. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 rounds on target. So I got a 50% accuracy rate with the 5.56 full auto. Let's go. 100 meter. 100, thank you. I do this again, it's semi-automatic. So let's soft, just fire sights. Let's reset the distance and see how we did. As you can see, I got a much better pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. As you can see, I was much more able to consistently get my shots on target, and I got them all in a roughly chest-sized group at 100 meters. So let's go to 100 meters, because now we've proven that it's more effective to use a rifle that's semi-automatic than fully automatic. Now let's see just how much of a difference that makes when you're firing 7.62 NATO. This is a full-power rifle cartridge that's also called 308. Let's see if I can even get around a fucking paper. Oh, would you look at that? The recoil had the rounds go fucking everywhere. I got 2 rounds of paper out of 19 rounds in this magazine. The reason that people go for the 5.56 is because there's less recoil, which means that it's more controllable and you can get your rounds. You can adjust your sights in semi-automatic faster. It's also easier to train with less recoil than this. You don't have to worry about getting knocked on your ass if you're a very light individual like you would with a 308. The reason that the 308, that 7.62 by 54 by 51 is used in hunting rifles is because it's powerful enough to take down large game. In the case of humans, 5.56 is just enough. It's effective out to about 400 meters, and most importantly, there's not very much recoil. So as you can see, I can get my sights back on target very quickly if I'm actually putting it up to my shoulder. Minimal recoil, I'm able to track targets more effectively. With 7.62 by 51. See, I'm having to worry about where my recoil is going to put my next shots, and then I have to bring it back onto target. So they show up back with you. So yes, as you can see, you can get things done in semi-automatic with these rifles. If you have military people who are saying that this is an absolutely super deadly firearm, and they've probably never had to use an M14 or had to shoot an M1 Garand, because back then you had to have full power rifles, and if you didn't, you were fucking around. So hopefully that gives you some perspective on just how not super deadly the AR-15 is and why it was chosen specifically. It also doesn't help that 308 is super expensive when compared to its competition. Like $2 a round for a 20-round magazine of 7.62 NATO. You're probably spending somewhere around $40. With 5.56, it's much less than that because the rounds are much cheaper. So, hopefully, I was able to do anything useful at all and explain to you why picking on the AR-15 specifically is the dumbest shit ever. Besides, it's not really AR-15s that are the giant problem when it comes to all of these mass shootings. It's pistols. Something being powerful doesn't mean that it's going to be